Robbie Hammock down inside the Hoppers clubhouse, down in the coach's office. First of all, let's go back to yesterday. Talk about, I just want to start, I guess, very beginning, go back to that guy I call right now the most improved player on the team this year. From last year to this year, most improved player, the guy you said early in the season, we both agreed he had persistence and patience and perseverance. And last night, that big play in center field, plus his bat's been big lately here during the home stands in recent weeks. I mean, Luke Brown, what about Luke?
Yeah, man, he's been impressive. He's like the epitome of perseverance. I can't say that there's anyone else I'm more proud of and excited about how things have come along for him. He just went through a spot at the beginning of the season, and it wasn't who he is. He had trouble at the plate. He struggled heavily, and because of where he's at in his career, he was like put on the dev list multiple times, on and off, and never really was in the mix to get a shot. And now, over the last month and a half or so, he's been in there more, and he has just come through clutch for us with hit after hit, play after play. He does so many things really, really good. One of the most fundamentally sound players I've ever been around. I can't say too many good things about that guy. He's a guy that we as a staff all go to bat for.
You think about him, I think now maybe the past month and a half, especially last month, he's probably ensured himself a spot, I would think, next year on the Pirates roster somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, if it's up to us here, this coaching staff, we're going to be fighting for it. That's for sure.
And let's look at DeMar Johnson, because I want to bring him up because I've seen him a lot of the past couple of weeks, especially even during this homestand. What do I like about this guy? And it's probably something that goes unnoticed sometimes, but it sure is a big part of the game. The swipe tag's at second. He goes after that tag as good as anybody out there ever seen.
Yeah, and almost too good, because there's been some missed calls on it. The umpires are missing those things. Obviously, there's replay in the major leagues, but at the same time, he's got some good, quick tags, but it's so quick and it's not as methodical sometimes that umpires miss it. And so, hopefully he's able to, kind of get on that a little bit to make sure. And I know he did it on the second one last night, so it was cool to see him make that adjustment. But he can do a lot of things, man. I think he's going to be an above average defender at second base in the future.
Is the key to that tag at second important to hold it for a second, hold the tag down?
Yeah, or just make sure you get it on a big part of the body where there's no discretion there, when you swipe, sometimes you really move it through there, and it's kind of, umpires kind of tough to tell on, without replay. Then whatever they see safe, then that's how it's going to stand. So
it's kind of on that same train, on the track. What about Jack Brannigan right now? I mean, Jack at shortstop looks very good there, and at the plate he had that one stretch in Greenville, I think, hit a homer, maybe 5 homers in 4 days. The bat's been very good, better here. Extremely wild are the numbers between here and Bradenton, how he came up with the big hits and the big power numbers. But the defense, I still like this defense he's got, because he had to play it shortstop a couple of days ago. I think they had 2 men on base, had a forced play at third, went down, made the play, came up, read it perfectly, and got it done.
Impressive, man. This guy, I think, is going to be an elite defender. I think he can be an elite shortstop, and that's very, very hard to do. And not just be good at it, but be elite at it. And I think there's also possibly moving him around, even in center field in the future, to introduce him to that, to become like a super, super utility player type. But the stuff he can do on the diamond is impressive on the defensive side.
And let's keep going that same train of thought. What about all these guys from Bradenton? Got to talk about all these guys, Brannigan, Johnson, and Seitler, Samillo, and all the pitchers that came here. I think Bradenton did a good job for you this year as far as keeping you supplied with talent. When you had your talent taken, you got some good guys coming in to help you out.
We did. It's a good group that came through here, from low A. And that's just a testament to that staff down there, Jonathan Johnson and his crew down there, getting those guys tightened up. And I know, our discussions, I know that they work really hard to get those guys in a good spot to be ready to come up here and compete. So, it's just a testament to them, and obviously the players too, and their work ethic and the way they go about their daily business. But I know it's set in motion from those guys down there.
Let's go to this next. Here's a next number question for you. I know it's probably set in this locker room, clubhouse, coach's office downstairs, but what about overall Jace Bowen MVP. He's got MVP-type numbers. I mean, the best thing is the home runs are great, RBIs are great. People forget about the stolen bases, too.
Yeah, he can do a little bit of everything, man. I give him like the ultimate label. He's a baseball player. He goes hard all the time. He plays with extreme urgency. He plays very heads-up player. And like you said, he's got MVP-type numbers on the offensive side. He's tough at the plate. You never know. He might hit one 400 feet, and then he can also slap the ball the other way. But and then if he gets on base, he can steal bags. He's running hard, going first to third. He's picking up extra 90 feet. As trail runner, there's so many things he does well, and so much energy that he plays with. He's a baseball player. And that's like the highest label I think you can give somebody.
Quite a compliment there. And you think about the Defensive Player of the Year. I've got 4 candidates for you. Looking back over the audio and the video, they went more to the audio. They're looking at the video more than the audio. But anyway, going back, I'll start with Dixon that played at first base. Excellent play, snuffed out the bag, hit the bag, made the play at first. Then you got up next, I think, Tres Gonzalez in left field, goes back, hits the wall, falls down, holds the ball up in the air, so I got it and falls over almost half dead. Then you got Jace Bowen in center field, goes up, kind of scales the fence, makes a big catch. Then last night, you got Luke Brown in center field, goes up, goes over, pulls it back in. I think he went just a little higher maybe than Bowen did. But what about your thoughts on that defensive? Those are got to be the candidates, I would think, and you may have another. But anyway, what about those 4?
Yeah, those 4 good ones. I think hands down the most incredible play this year is Luke Brown's last night. But on the other side of that, I think the biggest play of the year was Bowen taking that ball away. That was the go-ahead run, and that was the third out. Ended the game. Biggest play of the year, for sure. But the most incredible one, and not take anything from Bowen's, but the most incredible one was from Brownie last night. Just overall, just the play itself. And Bowen will be the first one to tell you the same thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, and he came off the field. Brown, I thought the first guy should be shaking his hand and grabbing him, shaking him down would be the pitcher, Bubba Chandler, saying, "Hey, man, thank you much." Yeah,
he gave him a nice hug in the dugout after that. It was pretty cool to see, and I love seeing the reactions from his teammates too. You saw Hudson Head get so pumped up after he did that. It's just cool to see. He gets a hug from Ciani in left field too, right after, and those are the things you like to see because everybody's in it together and they're just as happy for their teammates as if it happened to them. And so it's really cool to see, and how this culture and this clubhouse has been that same way throughout the entire year, always pulling for each other and just creating this incredible learning environment for each other and holding each other accountable. It was something that was special this year in this clubhouse.
And you stop and think about it for a second, it kind of comes together there, and you think about all those good plays the players had, and you think about Brown, and you think about Bowen and Dixon, and then Tres Gonzalez, just a lot of balance on this team. And you think about all these, it's kind of crazy, too, how many plays you had. You had those 4 to choose from. Now, sometimes you may have 1 or 2 for a seat, or 4 right there to choose from, plus all the home runs. I went back and looked at the old videos today and the audio combinations. So many of those big home runs this year. I mean, this place has been full of home runs for you this year, and it's exciting. It encourages fans. They enjoy it, and the players enjoy it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, and it always makes the games exciting. Because you're a bloop and a blast away from being back in a ball game or going ahead. And we've had some guys that could do it. But at the same time, our best run of home runs happened in Greenville. When we hit, I think, what did we hit? We had 18 home runs. 18 home runs in a 6-game span. It was remarkable, obviously led by Brannigan, but that was that was something that's special that you don't see much. And so to be able to to say look at what these kids can do on the offensive side as well on the defensive side, it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool for the organization. I know these hitting coaches work and grind with these guys, and so it's I'm glad for them to see the benefits of their work when things like that happen.
Kind of close it out. What's it been like to be amongst the experience we had last night with Donald Moore, the recognition he got for what he's done for this team, the stadium over the years? Being around something like that's got to be kind of fun too, to be a part of that. Because I saw the players giving Donald's high fives, handshakes, hugs when he came off the field. That same stage, so it's got to be something you guys were a part of too.
Yeah, I've gotten to know Donald, this year. I first met him in spring training, and I'm excited. I was excited for him. I know he's put a lot of work here, just from hearing people talk about him, and it's cool to see people get recognized like that. And I know he's done a lot for this team and this, as well as the community on top of that. So it was cool for him to be able to be recognized like that. And it's at the same time, it's sad that he's going to step down and let someone else take over, because I would love to come back to this place as a manager as well and have Donnie running the show again. But I'm happy for him, and I'm wishing him the best.
So if you didn't come back here next year in 2024, you went to another level with the Pirates organization, moved up or moved in a little stronger, somewhere else moving up. What will you remember most about being in this town this year? What's be your memories you take out of Greensboro as far as the baseball goes? I know you love it. As far as other things, just being around here for like one season, baseball.
Oh man, that's tough. Just I'm going to remember this clubhouse, right? The kids in there, the players every day, grinding it out with them, and the city. It's just a quaint, nice, lovely city, and I loved it. The living arrangements here were awesome. The stadium is fantastic, and it's intimate. The fans are great. There's a lot, there's a great fan base here, and they do a really good job with the stadium operations and running the show here. And the grounds crew does a really good job on the field. There's just all aspects of it all the way through. And then there's going to be improvements next year with like the batting cage and the weight room stuff. And there's going to be some modifications in here in the clubhouse as well. And it's just a lot, even more good stuff's going to get added onto it. But also too, the coaching staff that I had this year was just absolutely remarkable. They made it fun. They taught their butts off, and they guys learned, and it was just so much credit goes to those guys as well. And so there's just a lot to remember and a lot to love about this summer we had here.
I guess it's a good place to kind of go back and carry out your business. And one more thing before we go, I guess you ought to also add in the unassuming character of Bob downstairs there, Bob the clubhouse man, Bob Perry getting his job done, because he just kind of goes about his business, and a lot of things with him get done.
Yeah, good old Bob, man. He takes care of us. I know he takes care of the visiting team, but he has his hands and stuff over here that he does for us as well, and we really appreciate him.
Good job this season. Appreciate you guys, the job you did. Again, it's fun to go back and look at the old YouTube and the Twitter videos, what you guys accomplished this season. I've seen some of the road stuff like you mentioned also. Just keep up the good work, and look for you guys again, hopefully for your sake, maybe at the AA level next season.
All right, Andy, I appreciate it, man. Good working with you.
Robbie Hammock, our Hopper skipper, talking there in the pregame interview here this evening. That's a